Good afternoon, ladies and gents. It's Nick at Optima PS. Thank you once again for coming back to my channel. I'm always grateful to have you here. It really is a pleasure to speak to you. So yes, thank you for that. It's an interesting day today. I wasn't going to do a video today, just to let you into a little bit of my personal life. I woke up this morning to an almighty crash to see a 40-foot palm trees come down in the garden, coconut tree, in fact, rather than palm tree. It was old, it was rotten, but I didn't expect it to come down overnight. It wasn't even a high wind night, so luckily it fell in the way we always thought it would fall, and there's no real problems. But I thought I'd be busy today, but I just can't stay away. Most of you who know me know I'm not normally someone to get carried away with the world. I don't get carried away with the price. I'm not here for making a quick buck overnight. Um, but it's an exciting week, isn't it? I really can't help but get excited by this week. So before I get into all that, I just want to say, as you know by now, I'm a financial advisor, but I'm absolutely, definitely not your financial advisor. If I were to ever offer you financial advice, it would mean us signing contracts in terms of business and all kinds of paperwork first. And trust me, you'd be 100% aware that I was indeed giving financial advice. Until that point in time, this is just me as a person sharing some knowledge on the internet. I don't have any intimate knowledge about your own personal situation, so I couldn't possibly dream of giving you any financial advice. I'm just here to share some opinions and hopefully you gain some value from that. So moving on to today's video. So again, I've not quite come up with a title yet. I've just turned my mic on and pressed record. But I think it's going to be something along the lines of, is this the moment we see the switch being flipped? And I don't normally want to be that guy that gets excited and starts all this positive feeling out there in the market, but it's there anyway. If we look around, the positivity is there. All of a sudden, only a week or two ago, it was negativity everywhere, right? So it is very, very strange how quickly these things work. And that's why the phrase is called the flip of the switch flip, whatever you want to call it, whichever way round you put it. It's the phrase that we've heard people use in the crypto world for a long time, particularly about XRP and Ripple, to be honest. But it's something that we know has been around. It's a phrase we've all heard, and it's there for a reason. It's because if you've been around the investment world as long as I have, you see that there are these tipping points in life, in the business world, in the investment world. There are always times where things are not being adopted, and then suddenly, bam, they're adopted. It's like the switch of a flip, the flip of a switch, even. It's like the flip of a switch, the switch of a flip, if you want to say it that way around. But whatever you look at historically, there's always been this tipping point where, whether it's from a regulatory point of view, and people don't like something, eventually admit they can't hold back the tide any longer, and the powers that be flip over and suddenly decide they like it, whether it's from an investment point of view, whether it's a business side or a public side. The internet was exactly the same. I remember when the internet came out, I was a young kid. We had a computer in the school with the internet. My parents never dreamed that they would ever have the internet in their house. They just didn't think it was necessary. They didn't think it was there to serve a purpose for them. It was this kind of thing that only big businesses needed, or the public library might have a computer that's on the internet. And if you needed to go and research something, then you went to the library, just like in those days you would go down to the library and find a book on the subject you wanted. I remember taking out a huge, great book about Ford Fiestas and going down and helping my granddad to repair a Fiesta. I went down and I physically borrowed the book from the library, and we went home and we read the book. And with the use of this book, and predominantly my granddad's knowledge, I'll be honest with you, we repaired his car. And that's how you did things back in those days. And the library then had a computer that said you could jump on, use the computer, and instead of downloading that book, find the piece you needed. It was a little bit quicker if you were tech savvy and you knew your way around, and you'd get there a little bit quicker. But my parents never dreamed of having the internet in our house. It just wasn't something that crossed their mind. A similar story to this is my other granddad, my dad's dad. He died when I was quite young, so I don't remember him that well. But my dad always tells the story that after the Second World War, he had a driving license that he'd got in the British Army. He didn't keep it. He got home from the army, as it was, discharged from the army. He got home, and he didn't even bring the driving license. In them days, it was a piece of paper that said you had a license to drive. He didn't even bring it with him, because he never dreamt that in his lifetime he would be able to afford a motor car of his own. So he thought, I'm out of the army. I won't be driving their trucks anymore. I won't need this license. And then just how quickly life turned. And then suddenly it went from a stage where very few people had a car to everybody had a car. Moved down, very few people had a computer to everyone had a computer. My first computer in the house wasn't on the internet at all. We had a big, I forget the name now. Somebody will probably be able to tell me. There was a CD drive encyclopedia that you used to get information. You could use things like Word, you could type documents, but we weren't actually on the internet with that. My parents never thought we'd need the internet or we'd have the internet. Very, very quickly, bang, everyone had the internet. Same with things like satellite TV, cable TV. Nobody had it, boom, everybody had it. I guess it would have been the same going from black and white TVs to color TVs in the day, or from radio to TV, whatever the technology of the time is. There is a tipping point where things switch and they flip very, very quickly, like the flip of a switch. Is that where we are today? I don't know. I don't like to get carried away with these things. If we take a little look at the prices today, it's predominantly green, isn't it? Tether's the only one that's red on the screen at the moment in the last 7 days. And if we actually look at that, well, that's Tether. You know, it's not quite the same as the other coins. So all the coins have a relatively positive movement in the last 7 days. Again, XRP is down there. It's not quite as good as some of the others. Ethereum is flying on the news of that potential ETF. I've not heard anything more the last 24 hours, but the last I saw, it was looking quite positive when, if you'd asked me a week ago, I'd have said I thought it was unlikely. We've seen all this news. This is the big news right now, isn't it? House passes Financial Innovation and Technology for the 21st Century Act with overwhelming bipartisan support. So if you've been living in a cave the last 2 or 3 days, you may not have seen this, but we've literally gone from me talking less than a week ago about worrying, fearing that America might be left behind because of the Senate, because of all these old fuddy-duddies on there who weren't prepared to go and follow this digital train that we're moving down when it comes to the finance world. We all thought they were dragging their heels to stick in the mud, probably to line their own pockets, if we're honest. That was where I sort of laid the blame, is on these old guys who wanted to keep feathering their own nest, if you like, and weren't prepared to jump into the 21st century. And I thought that was going to leave America behind, or at least I feared that would be the case. I did think they would come around eventually, but I didn't think it would happen overnight like this. And bang, all of a sudden, this news broke. It very, very quickly went through. There was this overwhelming bipartisan support. And suddenly we're looking at a very, very different situation today than we were 24, 48 hours ago. And it feels to me like there is this wave of optimism and wave of possibilities that's come over us now that we can look at this and go, wow, is this the time? I still don't know, and I seriously doubt we're going to see anything major happening, in a week, in 2 weeks. But I think this could be in 2 years' time when we look back at this, and we're all very, very pleased with where our bags are sitting at that point in time. This might be the week we look back on and go, that's when the switch was flipped. It's when the tipping point occurred. It's when the balance on the scale swung in our favor. However you want to look at this, that's the moment. And I hope that's the case. There's optimism everywhere you go, right? You can see here, there is a bipartisan majority in both chambers of Congress in favor of crypto. You've got May 2024 confidential institution presentation, CBDCs now coming fast. Almost half the world's populations will experience the benefits of digital money this year. Pilots moving into launches. We take a look at this. This is where we are looking at CBDCs coming through fast, or at least that is according with Smoke Dog. If you don't follow this guy, give him a follow. He's one of the best sources of information out there in the entire space on Twitter. And that's what he seems to think is coming. We look through again, FIT 2021. What will it do? Yeah. Ensure consumer protections, foster innovation, end regulation by enforcement, promote American fintech leadership. Everything out there is positive. Everything's talking about this being a big, big moment. You can feel the excitement. If we jump on here, the fear and greed index, okay, we're in greed at 66 at the moment. We've not moved into extreme greed yet, but I imagine we will be in a very short space of time. it feels like a tipping point to me. And I wanted to jump on and say it. See, the other thing is, this is how strange the world is right now. I'm talking about all this positivity I'm seeing. I'm talking about this change in sentiment. Everyone's looking at this going, wow, is this the moment? Is this the moment? I go back to my space in the traditional finance world. Nobody even knows it's happened. And I mean, nobody even knows it's happened. I speak to other IFAs, I speak to institutions, I'm on the phone to Goldman Sachs all the time. Everyone knows this is a thing, but nobody thinks this is going to be a big impact right now. Nobody cares almost, you know. We are so early in this space. And we're going to look back at this one day and we're going to be saying that the fact that we were here and we were able to buy Ethereum at $3,000, I know that's quite high, but it will be higher. I mean, I'm not a fan of Ethereum. I actually think they've escaped the noose around their neck now with the SEC. I don't think they're ever going to see what we thought they were going to see when it came to the whole Leafgate thing. I think they're going to get away with it, but I'm glad they're going to get away with it, even though they all pointed fingers at the XRP community. And, you know, it was really annoying for a long time. But if Ethereum gets away with it, it means crypto is going to move in a very positive direction, much quicker than I thought. We're waiting on the XRP case. Yes, there's one or two things outstanding there, but that feels like we're almost at the end now. Not guaranteeing it. It might go through. It might go up to a higher form of court where we have to wait another 2 years if the SEC still want to fight this. But suddenly I think they're realizing, Gary Gensler himself is realizing that support is dropping. And when support drops, this is all about self-preservation, right? It always has been. When the pendulum swings and support goes the other way, they'll drop people like Gensler like a hot potato, or Gensler will drop his agenda like a hot potato. That's the way these things work. It always has done. It always will do. You know, we can look at electric vehicles. The oil and gas sector was so heavily against electric vehicles for such a long time. The automobile industry was so heavily against electric vehicles for such a long time until it came to the point where they had to adapt or die. And suddenly they evolve, they move forward, they all create their own EVs, and that's the way they're moving forwards now. This is how it always works. It's that adoption, the push against, there's a ceiling, there's a lot of aggressors, shall we say, fighting back, trying to prevent the technology from moving forwards, because they are trying to look after their own interests, right? And then eventually it hits a point where they realize they can hold back this wall no more, this wall of water, this tide, whatever you want to call it. They can't fight it anymore. And so if you can't beat them, join them. And they instantly swing, they turn it around, and that's when you see things move very quickly in that direction. I'm not talking about next Thursday. I'm not talking about the end of this year. I think we'll see a great bull run now, but I'm talking about the next 5 years to 10 years. We are going to see some phenomenal movements in this industry, and we are early. We are so early. You know, you look at these prices now, we think they're high because they're almost all-time highs for most coins, again, except XRP. But they are almost all-time highs for most of these coins. And you look at that and you go, these are going to be dwarfed, these numbers, by what we see 3, 4, 5 years from now. There'll still be market cycles. We'll still see the world go up. We'll hit a peak. It will come back down again. But we're going to be looking at the thing. You're going to be talking to your friends in the pub and they're going to say, you bought XRP at 52 cents. Oh my God, you must be loaded. You must be a multi-millionaire. I hope you are. What I don't want to be is I don't want to be in a position where I have to say to somebody, yeah, you know what? I knew how great it was. I knew that price was so phenomenal, and I just didn't do enough. I didn't buy enough. I didn't get enough. I got a couple 100,000. I paid off my car loan and my house. I don't want to be that guy. I've seen this, I've smelled it, I know where we're going to go, I know where this is going to be in the future, and I want to make sure my bags are packed as much as they can possibly be, and they are. You know, I've got other things going on in life, I have a family, I have other things to pay, other people to support, so I'm not here living in a world where every last penny is here, but I've made sure my bags are packed enough that if we hit the prices I think we're going to hit, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be sat here still talking to you guys, telling you how I made a couple $1 million, not telling you I think we might all do it one day. That's where I want to be with this. And to be honest with you, I think this is a big week. I think this is a big, big week. This is a big changing of the guard. It's a big swinging of the pendulum, whatever you want to call it. This will go down in history as a very, very nice week. And so I'm going to leave you with that. I don't want to make any real predictions about prices and things like this. I just wanted to share the same positivity, the same sentiment, because I think this is a big, big moment in time. So, guys, if you like what I had to say today, please do like and subscribe to the channel. Please do share me on social media. Follow me on Twitter as well, or X, whatever we want to call it these days. It would be great to hear back from you in the comment section. Yep, if you don't agree with me, tell me that as well, and we'll have a sophisticated adult debate about where I went wrong and how you think I should look at things in the future. But I think most of you will be with me. This has been a big week. It's been a great week, and I'm really excited to see what comes next. So, guys, I'm going to leave that with you. 15 minutes in. Thank you very much for your time today. It's always a pleasure. We'll speak again soon. Have a great day. Thanks again, Nick.